Good morning. It's 7 o'clock in UK, so it's night, and I tried to wake up 7 o'clock Finnish time, but for some reason I was absolutely knackered, and I could have slept. I still could sleep, but I'm forcing myself up and went to Sainsbury, I don't know, one of these grocery stores here. Bought some water and a toothbrush and a sewing kit. I have one button that is coming loose on my winter coat. I'll try and sew it onto later today. No specific feelings except that I'm just absolutely tired, but I think that's kind of normal sleepiness. I guess the meeting starts at 11, so do a bit of work and then I'm gonna rush off to the meeting. It'll be interesting to see how I gauge my, condition by how the walking goes. Pavements here are nasty because they're uneven, and I need to pay attention to my walk because easily trip over. I nearly fell over a couple of times, so I need to focus on my walking more than usual when I'm here. Yeah, that was one of the comments that was made, that let's see was not a good attitude to go into a healing service. That this kind of blasé attitude is not a good one to have. And I don't know. But then again, I trust that God is bigger than my attitude.
Here I am again. What do you call it? Worship fund is practicing. To an extent I do miss. What we have in Vineyard. But they're doing the same songs as we do. Let's see. But yeah, I walked from the hotel to the meeting place, and I was a bit more steady on my step, but it might be because I had not exhorted myself yet today. But anyway, I'll go.
Hello. The first meeting of the day has now gone past, and their worship music was, there was a couple of songs I didn't know, and then some of the ones that I did know, they sang them somehow differently. But what was a tremendous blessing was that the whole congregation, they're blasting at the top of their voices, and the band was blasting also, and it was very loud. And at the end, the pastor joined into the he took his speaker microphone and joined into the song. Let's do it one more time. And what do you call it? Musically it was, maybe we've been treated too nicely because we have professionals doing it. So what do you call it then when you come across how do I say, less musically skilled? And as Terhi sometimes mentions, the worship leader's job is to make it an easy way or lead people into the presence of God. They took up 2 offerings in the meeting. I didn't give any. I gave them yesterday a £20 note, but today I thought that I'd give it a miss. John came again talking to me and mentioned that we need to pray for you. But there was quite a bit of people, so there was this. I made a conscious effort to go and to see one of these black people, and I think he had a good prayer, and you call it, feeling wise, I was able to walk to the meeting and back without any major complications, which was, positive news. The internet access, I've used my 4 gigabytes, so I've been without internet access the whole morning, and it's still broken. I'm expecting it to come online any minute now, because it's 4 gigabytes in a 24-hour period. It's a noisy hotel. You can hear when people move upstairs. But I slept like a baby, and I could have slept hours more.
Most spectacular thing, there was a lady in the meeting with a stroller. She came in with, I can't remember, some degenerative spinal condition. But by the, what do you call it, after being prayed for some time, she was then walking around, what do you call it, which she couldn't do without the stroller previously, and was able to lift her arms, which she wasn't able to do previously. And her whole demeanor changed. So from a very sulky little old lady, she called herself that, little old lady. She turned into this fairly joyous lady, walking around and talking to everybody and having fun. It was great. The church in itself seems to have a very strong and vibrant prayer ministry, and this was the coloured guy that prayed for me. I think, they looked like they were ordinary church clothes, but they were, what do you call it, they were good at it, what they did, I thought. And I felt that there was God's power and presence there. And one lady especially caught my eye. I'll see if I can find a photo of her. She had all black clothes on and a black cap, lippalakki, with about 15, 20 centimeter high golden letters on the black cap saying love. And but yeah, you couldn't miss her. But not taking anything away, she was among, the people praying for others and being active in it. So yeah, I was very blessed to see that both their worship was exuberant, plus then their action towards other Christians was also. Rina has sometimes painted a bleak picture of English Christianity, or at least the ones that she's been sometimes involved, and but it blesses me immensely when I see people coming from completely different walks of life and having completely different backgrounds, and they have small kind of twists or tweaks in their faith, but still the underlying truth is that well, it's not even underlined, but there's so huge common denominators that we as Christians share, that it blesses me a lot to see people. And I do understand I'm my own person, and my interpretation of Christianity and how I see it is just as valid as theirs, but it blesses me to see theirs.
The room, it's it's a mess, not a little mess. There's a tiny TV up there where you have breakfast, or the main entrance. It's a funny hotel, all the rooms are in separate buildings. So, and then there is a very tiny toilet. But the positive thing was that the shower produced actually proper water. Sometimes in England they just drizzle and there's no hot water, but this one was good. Looks like there's a lot of Thai restaurants around here. So second day in a row that I ate fresh spring rolls, and this time I took king prawns in a vegetable broth, spicy vegetable broth. Better than the meeting done. An interesting meeting again. Very short teaching and then prayer. I'm struggling to even remember what the teaching was. I'll mention it if it comes to mind, but it was basically a small, 10-15 minutes tops. But then started the fairly interesting part in the meeting. This John Mellor had been on British radio, and he had obviously done some kind of a broadcast over the radio, and prayed in that broadcast about different ailments. And there was an elderly lady, her name was Beryl. Why I recognize it, it's one of the founding stones of the New Jerusalem. One of the founding stones is Beryl. So the lady was named Beryl, and she was 84 years old. And while she was listening to this, she was laying in bed because her back was sore. During John's prayer on the radio, she mentioned then, "Oh Jesus, could you please heal me also?" I forgot about it, and then got up from the
bed and started doing something, just then to suddenly realize that she was healed. Okay, that was kind of nice that she was healed over the radio waves, completely. God is omnipresent, so why not? The other one, she had then brought her this old lady, the 84-year-old lady, she had brought her daughter. They didn't mention her age, but she had fibromyalgia. I don't know what it's in English, but anyway, she was in constant pain. She was prayed for, and they received healing, or said that the pain had left her body. And now two from the same family, but now there was also the 84-year lady's granddaughter, and she was asked whether she would like to have prayer. Yes, I would like to have. And the meeting took a fairly serious turn at this point, because there was two serious points in the meeting today. This was the first one, and she said that she's 19 weeks pregnant, and the doctors have told that the fetus doesn't have vital organs growing in it, and they need to terminate the pregnancy. And obviously a creative miracle was prayed for, and I'm going to follow up on that to see, but it's gut wrenching to see that my problems are dwarfed in comparison to something like that. Then there was another lady came in a wheelchair, had spinal cancer, and the doctors had given her two months. Time to live, or elinaika. How do you say? Well, anyway, 2 months time to live, and they was put into saattohoito. I don't know what I gathered that's what they meant, and she wasn't anymore in the hospital. She was just being her life was being tried to be made easy, and the problem was that the medication, she was on morphine and stuff like that, it didn't help. Had my first ever vegetarian dinner. The Indian restaurant was open today. So back to the lady with the spinal cancer, and so she was wheeled in a wheelchair, and didn't have any feeling in her right leg because the cancer had somehow affecting her nervous system, and got feeling back in her leg, could not talk. I mean, she mentioned what was wrong with her, but then when God touched her, she got out of her, can't talk now. So I don't know what was going on. So I'm also going to check up if there's something in relation to that. Since it was their official meeting, I got my welcome package. The worship today. The worship, in the first meeting it was
how do I say, a distraction more than anything else. But now there was 3 black ladies singing. Sorry, a black lady was playing the piano and singing. There was a black lady playing the guitar and singing, and then there was just somebody, a white girl and a black girl doing vocals, and then the worship leader from the morning session, he was just a bass player, and the drummer. Now that the drummer, he was a bit of a, I think he still was a bit funny, but what do you call it? Now that he had a funky bass player, I mean, it still sounded horrible, but they got this groove on in certain songs, and it was very. I regret that I didn't take any video of it. Walking was halfway all right. I'm a bit more secure on my feet, and I got funny looks in the Indian when I asked for a non-alcoholic drink. We don't have anything. Well, give me juice then. Can't say that I experienced a miracle, but I can say that it was worthwhile coming and seeing stuff like that. It is funny when you, how do I say, quite often preachers, when they come into your meeting, they preach about what happened somewhere, miles or thousands of miles away or ages ago or something like that. But here we were talking about the very first meeting. It was mentioned that this happened, a couple of days ago, but from the first meeting, every single other meeting, it was pointing back to the previous meeting. And yeah, I'll look up if I can find, because it was posted on Facebook, this lady who got off her walker. It was shown in the meeting today, and she's apparently been a member of that church for 18 months, and to me that is kind of the biggest testimony, is that a guy comes from Australia, and a person that people have known for ages gives a testimony that I am healed, and then everybody around her knows her, so it's not something that they just came up with. But anyway, I'll put this together and send it. Jesus is King.